Hey, best friends.
Welcome to the Bestie Advice Podcast. Where we discuss all things relationships.
Hey, besties. Welcome to a special edition of the Bestie Advice.
Yes.
You can see we are together doing a podcast.
Yes, we are.
Oh my gosh. And so we wanted to do this podcast because I had gotten a few questions, and Kiran and I, we get it a lot about our friendship. So we're doing a special edition of the Bestie Advice.
Yes.
Let me do my official intro. I am Irene, and this is my bestie, Kiran.
Hey, besties and friends.
So today we're going to talk a little bit and try to answer a question as best as we can answer it.
Yeah.
I was posed the question, what is the difference between a best friend and a good friend?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to add an associate onto that. So what's the difference between a best friend, a good friend, and an associate? And we're going to answer it to the best of our ability, what we feel in our heart.
Yes.
But I'm going to preface this in saying you have to go with what you feel in your heart and in your gut, what your friendships look like. So,
absolutely.
Kiran,
Yes.
what is the difference between a best friend and a good friend? Just those two right now.
A best friend and a good friend. So I believe with a good friend, I'll start with best friend. That's a little bit more easier.
It is.
I feel
It
like
is.
with a best friend, it's no disclaimers.
Mhm.
You can tell anything and everything to him or her. You don't have to hide. You don't have to be guarded. You can be fully open, 100% transparent as far as with them, knowing that they are going to give you honest feedback, that they're not going to judge you. You can let your hair down as far as with them.
Yes.
And it's a little bit different to me when it comes to a good friend. Good friends, I do believe that the trustworthy and loyalty characteristic has to still be there. That's still required.
It is.
They still need to be trustworthy. They still, you still need to be able to trust them. But it's a little bit more laid back. Like you're not coming and telling them any and everything. That might be that one you can go out, you can get coffee with, you can chop it up, you can laugh. But you're not giving them like your innermost ideas and feelings and things of that nature. You are a little bit guarded because you really don't know. You know where you are, but because you know where you are, that's a good way to say it. Because you know the level of your relationship, some things you do not share. So to me, that is the difference. I don't want to start giving examples or anything like that. But I will say that it really is a big difference. But the biggest difference is that one, you tell all, and then the other one, you may tell some.
Yeah. If you go back and you watch the best friend tag that Kiran and I did, or if you watch red flags of friendships or green flags, we talk a lot about our friendship, how it developed organically. And we kind of talk about our view. And one of those things is Kiran and I always say, we know where to place people. Like if it's a shelf, you might be on the top shelf, you might be on the bottom shelf. Where we place people is where the level of trust is. And it takes time. I am often leery of people that don't know me, that just start sharing everything and they don't really know me. That makes me very uncomfortable because I'm guarded. That is a red flag. We don't even know each other because it takes time to get to know someone. And I definitely agree with her definition. I do believe that, and I do think you can have multiple best friends. I literally just said this to someone, Kiran and I are both married and our husbands are our best friends as well, but it's just on a different level. And if you're married out there, your husband should absolutely be your best friend. You're going through things together. Anytime you sharing your money and your bed and your body, that person needs to be your best friend, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, there's only so much that I think your husband can be or your wife can be. You do need a best girlfriend, a best guy friend that you can, that's just really to be healthy.
Yes.
One of the things that Kieran said that I absolutely love is if you gotta give a disclaimer, man, you better use discernment.
Exactly.
Because
use wisdom, y'all.
You have to. If you can't, if you tell someone something and you might have to repeat it, then you better stand 10 toes down that you can repeat it. Because if you can't, then you probably shouldn't have said it to that person. And you got to think every person has someone that they tell everything to. That's how you know if you're best friends. Because I've seen this happen before. And I said this on another podcast. I've seen where someone was calling that person their best friend. And that person was like, I might be your best friend, but you're not my best friend. And so you got to be careful out there. And when you look at these characteristics, when you just have a group of really good friends, you oftentimes share something in common that connects you. And that's, you really just connect through that one thing or one or two things. You have things in common. Kieran and I have a whole lot in common, which is what drew us together. Right. But we were able to build a lot of depth in our friendship through a lot of personal things that happened, through, trauma, through so many things where we realized that, hey, she was one of the first people I had to call if something happened. I can trust her. Even before we turned this camera on, I was sharing something very personal with her that I would never share with anyone else, so that's how you know you have a friend. Because I didn't say, no, I'm going to tell you this.
That right there. And it's funny, even with the whole disclaimer thing, just thinking about, as far as with Irene and I, when we plan our days of hanging out, and it's just going to be her and I. While I'm getting dressed, in my mind, I'm already running down in my mind. I'm gonna tell her this, I'm gonna tell her that, I'm gonna tell her this, I'm gonna tell her that. So if you're getting ready to hang out with one of your good friends or one of your just friends, and you're like, should I tell her this? I really want to share this. Should I share that? That's a no. To me, right there, when you gotta contemplate on if, should, maybe, it's not settling right, it's not fitting right, then it's a no. You all aren't there yet. Not saying that you won't get there. That's about that. That's why we build relationships and we cultivate friendships. That's the whole purpose of that, with spending time with one another, with sharing with one another. Start sharing small, and then we build. But when you start sharing things and it's like, okay, you're comfortable, I'm comfortable with doing it. You share, they share. That's another indicator right there. When you share and they share too. If you're sharing everything about your husband, your boyfriend, what's going on at your job, with your kids, what's going on at your church, whatever, and they're like, and they want to give you all the good advice, but shares nothing. No, that's not really that good friend. Or best friend, or let alone best friend. The feeling should be mutual. What you share should be mutual. If you're able to let your guards down with that good friend and they're doing the same, then I think that that's an indicator that, hey, maybe we can become better friends. We can go. So another thing I wanted to bring up too is, even when it comes to best friends, some people may say, well, I have 5 or 6 best friends, baby. Man, if you have 5 or 6, 4 or 5, shoot, 2. You're doing real good.
Yeah, you are.
But what I really thought about prior to Irene and I joined this, and I don't know why God brought this to my mind. I don't know if you all watch the show Sisters. It's a Tyler Perry show. It's not a church show, but it's a Tyler Perry show, right? But it's 4 girlfriends on there, and they're best friends. However, when anything happens to one of them, they only call one of the friends. So if you know these characters, Sabrina calls Danny, Danny calls Sabrina. Karen calls, I'm about to call her girl Drea.
No, Andy.
Andy. Karen calls Andy, Andy calls Karen. Now, when they all get together and start dropping out, right? Well, this is going on with Andy, this is going on with Karen, and they're bringing it to the group. But that first person that they call is one of those people. They're not on 4-way. No. They're calling one person. So even with your best friends, guaranteed one of them is going to be a better friend. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's nothing wrong with that. It could just be that person is always available. That person has like the best advice, whatever your reason may
Or
be.
you're naturally just drawn to that
Yes,
person. I think it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even with multiple best friends, at the end of the day, one person is going to be that better friend.
Even like Kiran brought up a show like
Mhm.
New School, like Sisters is
Mhm.
New. Take it back to Living Single, okay? Let's take it back to Living Single, right?
Single.
But if you think
Yeah.
about it, all the characters was connected to Khadijah.
Yeah.
And Max and Khadijah were best friends in college.
Yes.
Regine and Khadijah were childhood best friends.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Sinclair was her cousin. So
Sinclair was her cousin.
Sinclair was her cousin,
Mhm.
right? But when you think about their dynamic,
Mhm.
they were all connected to that one person.
Yeah.
Maxine and Sinclair wasn't best friends.
Not at
or
all.
Regine, like you have, like, right?
Not
So
at all.
it's
Mhm.
just like a natural, progression. When you look
Mhm.
at Martin, Gina, and Pam.
Yeah.
But what was so amazing is Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell were best friends in real life.
Yeah.
And that relationship showed on the screen.
Yeah, it did.
So it's okay. You can have multiple best friends.
Mhm.
And sometimes if you think about how life progressed, your
Mhm.
best friend in elementary is
Mhm.
not the same in high school, is not the same in college.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
it can be. Some people grew up from the
Mhm.
womb till they in their 50s, right? And they best friends.
Room
Not
to the tomb.
in the room to the tomb, exactly. Not everybody has that
Right,
experience,
right.
My best friend that I had is not my best friend now. I mean, you just got to think how life changes.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so you meet people in organizations, you meet
Mhm.
people at church,
Yes.
you meet people at work, and you
Mhm.
become great friends with them,
Absolutely.
lifelong friends. But there's a difference when you say, oh, that is my best friend. And I
Mhm.
think that's the person you can really be vulnerable with and
Yes.
share things with, and then trust them to give you really good advice and honest
Absolutely.
advice.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's, a big thing. And now associates, you at your own risk, whatever you say, you at your own risk. Because that's exactly what it is. We associate when we get together.
Mhm.
And now the thing with associates that can be deceiving is sometimes if you're around them a lot, you begin to think they're friends.
Yeah, you would.
And that's
Mhm.
where you have to be careful. And that's why for me,
Mhm.
and speaking for me, it's important. I absolutely know where I am with people all the time, because
Yes.
I have been in situations where I've been hurt, where I was like, child, I thought we was somewhere else. And they will remind you that you're not.
Right.
So you have to be careful with associates, but it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay to be general. It's okay to have, things in common. It's
Mhm.
okay to talk and laugh, because that's
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do in
Right.
life.
Right.
But, you have to think about, would you let that person in your home? Would you let that
Right.
person watch your child? Would you let that person,
Mhm.
you got to think about all those type of things when you think about people.
Absolutely.
And time tells all.
Yeah.
Something, if you have any type of doubt or
Mhm.
curiosity or question about a person's character, or
Yeah.
if they should be your friend, wait them out.
Yes.
And their character will eventually show up, because you can only
It'll
wear a
show
mask
up
for
every
so
time.
long. Yeah.
It'll show up every time. And I know a lot of times, we say that we have to define our relationships. We do. But when it comes to, well, shoot, that's any relationship.
Mhm.
That's not one-sided where you're defining it, where you're saying, oh, we're really good friends, and the other person's like, you just somebody I talk to at work.
Bro,
Like
I've seen it before.
that's two ways.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that both of you all are in agreement. Not saying you're walking around saying, you want to be my best friend. Not saying that you're doing that,
Mhm. Mhm.
but at the end of the day, you both have to be on the same page of where your relationship is. You got to be on the same page. It cannot be one-sided. And a lot of times that's where things go left, because you have put them in a place that you're not in their life.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're taking it step by step, day by day. We don't have to rush things, y'all. I know time is not on our side. It's not. But at the same time, God loves relationships. He wants us to be in relationships. And I believe, I didn't find the scripture, but I believe that he wants us to take our time to cultivate the relationship, to build the relationship. So spend time with he or she. You know, go out to the movies, go to their family reunions, you know, go to their family picnics, go to the movies, whatever it is, and then have those casual conversations that can sometimes lead to deeper conversations. You'll know. Believe me, so God will not lead you astray.
No.
Yeah, I know we bring God up every time, but y'all, he our source, so we're gonna have to. But God is not going to lead you astray at all in relationships as long as you acknowledge him and you let him know the desires of your heart. He'll let you know every time, baby, she ain't the one.
He will, yeah, you're right.
He not the one for you. He not the one. He'll let you know. And it's better to hear him than to experience it. So
Yeah,
be led by him, ask him to show you or whatever. And him showing you is not always you putting your business out there and it get blasted back. Him showing you, they can just be coming to you, talking to you about somebody else. And you're like, Dad, you running their story down to me. That's letting you know that that's not the one, because they're going to run your story down to the next person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And oh yes. To Kiran's point about, you know, somebody is your best friend, your good friend or associate. I knew that Kiran was someone that was a best friend, a near dear to my heart, because someone was going to say something about the church that she goes to. I said, we're not even talking about the church she goes to. They didn't even bring up her. I said, we're not even talking about the church.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, if you can't even say the name of the church she go to around me because you was about to be negative, you know I'm not going to let you talk about her. And I've said that before.
Exactly.
I said, oh, we're not talking about Kiran. You know, and they look kind of like, what? No, we're not talking about her because that's my friend. No, you know, if somebody come, well, ain't nobody gonna come to me and say nothing about her at all, right?
Vice versa.
They're not gonna do it. But you know, we've been talking to a group of people and someone brings up a person.
Right.
You don't say nothing. Or you might add on to it. You might be like, you're right, they do that. Then you know that ain't your best friend. Because if you feel comfortable adding on and letting someone say something about that person and you got your 2 cents and your grievances, then that's automatic.
They not the one.
But when you say, hey, we're not having this conversation. We're not talking about this. Or what you say about this person again, we're not doing that. I mean, and when it's somebody that I love, so you are automatically family. No.
Yeah.
My husband, no. My best friend, no. It's
man,
not. No. It's not gonna happen. I can be kind until I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. And that's one way to make me, because now I'm like, wait, what made you feel comfortable to say something about my friend?
Absolutely.
So now I gotta look at you side eye, right? And so you'll know that, oh wow, me and this person are best friends, or we're really good friends, because you know, I'm not gossiping behind their back. I'm not letting nobody else gossip behind their back. And if somebody says something that's not true, then you say, that is not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not the story.
Absolutely.
You know, and you absolutely. And so, you know, because your emotions are tied to that friendship. And so if you're emotionally tied to that friendship where, you know, and that was a big thing for me when I was like, don't even mention the church. Then I knew, okay, then my heart is attached to her.
Yes.
Right. And so then you know that that's somebody that's your best friend.
Yes.
Anytime that it's a group of people that's gossiping, because I can know if somebody bring up somebody that I don't particularly care for, I might add on, yep, I don't like them either. But I'm just being honest, I might add on. You know, or I might walk away, or I might not say anything, or I might be like, I don't want to be involved in this, and I'll walk away. But as a gauge to where you're at in that person's life, then
and here's another thing as far as to what you're saying, Irene. It's like when you have that relationship with someone, you actually, and you know them, you know where to step in and make corrections. Whereas when it's a good friend, you're like, oh, I don't know.
Can I say something to her?
No, but it's almost like I really don't know them like that to even say, no, that's not her.
That's true. You got to question that character. Like, I don't know, they could have did it. Yep.
Well, you know, she was. So she probably was talking about you too, Bob. So you know, it's like
right, you don't know.
So, but it's like when it's a good, not a good friend, but a best friend, you're gonna shut it down. Like you don't even know. I don't know Irene D said. She could have said,
Right. Right.
but you are saying a little bit too much right now. Let's go ahead and shut that all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
With a good friend or an associate, you really don't have that trust yet to even be able to say. That's where the walking away comes into play. Like, oh, I don't even want to get involved. I don't want them to have my name mixed up in that or whatever. And you can kindly walk away and ignore my doorbell that's going off right now. But you can just kind of like walk away or whatever. But yeah. Best friend, stand 10 toes down, shut it all the way down. Good friend, walk away unless you know for sure that that's not that person's character. Like, then I say.
But yeah, but even if let me clear this up for the trolls out there. Even if I don't like somebody and I hear somebody saying something that's not true, I'll be like, don't say that. That's not true about that person. I will correct you. That's not true. You know, even I could not even care for that person, but I will defend them. Like that's not even true. You know, so I just had to clear that up because I don't want no trolls saying nothing to me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But one last thing I definitely wanted to add was when you have a best friend, you don't have to call them every day.
No,
and
you
feel
don't.
like, oh, I got to call them every day. Me and Karan are busy women and we have so much going on and we have to make time, plan dates, put it on our calendar.
Yes.
You know, we will get on the phone, talk to the next lifetime. And we have to be like, girl, it's time to go to bed. You know, but but at the same time, it's like we pick up where we never left off, even if we don't talk. And then if Karan doesn't hear from me, she will text me like, are you okay? Is everything okay? I haven't heard from you, because she knows that I tend to be a workaholic and I will get engulfed in work. And she knows that about me. And she knows it's nothing against her, but she knows her friend and like, let me check on her because she will be busy. You know, what's going on? Tell me what, and then I'll be like, oh girl, this and this and this, you know, and vice versa, you know. And the thing about, we mentioned God a lot, is that spiritually we can feel each other in the spirit. And I know like, oh, I need to call her. I need to pray for her. I need to cover her. Karan is a spiritual leader in her church. She's a first lady. Her and her husband pastor a ministry. As her friend, I pray for her. I pray for him. I cover them. You know, I know they have intercessors at their church, but what a crying shame if I'm saying that's my best friend and I'm not covering her in prayer. Every day I'm calling her out in prayer because I want the best for them. I want them to grow spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally. Like it does my heart good to see my friends win. And so that's another thing as far as with friendship, is you're covering them in prayer. You just not praying for yourself, but you're praying for them and for their success. And then you push them to succeed. I see all the things that she has in her gifts and talents. I'm like trying to pull them out because I want to see her win. So you know that when you have a best friend, you want the very, very best for them. You don't want the, you know, the scraps, the leftovers, you know, you gatekeeping, you don't want to tell them anything. Like, you know, when you're pushing your friend and when you're able to tell them the honest truth, you know, that's not right. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said that. Right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that right there.
Because you know, they'll and receive it. I want, please tell me, because I know I can be out of control. So my husband has to reel me back in, and Karan, I want her to like, hold on. So you know that's when you have a really good friend.
No, and I want to go back to the first thing Irene said as far as, you know, talking every day and all of that. It really is about the quality versus the quantity. When it comes to how often you talk. We were just reading an article about best friends and good friends, and the person who wrote it basically said that you talk to your best friend every day. Who do that? When you're in grammar school, maybe high school, you talking to your friend every day because you seeing them at school and stuff like that. And maybe your best friend may work with you and, you know, for 5 days a week, y'all are talking every day, but usually not in the for real world or outside of those situations. Because you have a life. And whether you're single or you're married, you know, you most likely you're working, you could be in school, you own a business, you're involved in your church, in your community, whatever. You have children, you have a lot going on. So you cannot sit down and make that phone call all the time. But when you do, then most likely it's going to be an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, or when you all plan a time to go out, it's not just 30 minutes. No, we need to plan, like cut some time, carve some time out, because you're going to be there 3 and 4 hours or whatever, having a conversation, you know, and catching up. And absolutely, even when it comes to the whole pushing, another thing this article said is that friends don't push you, best friends do. That's a lie. Go ahead, call a lie, a spade a spade.
Right.
Even if the person is a good friend, even if it's just a friend, you just being happy that something that they may have accomplished. Shoot, when it comes to my coworkers, if my coworkers are promoted, yeah, congratulations, girl. Like, no, you are
Right.
actually pushing them as well. You're congratulating them, unless you're jealous or a hater. But other than that, if you're not
Exactly.
jealous and if you're not hating on them, it's nothing for you to give a compliment. It's nothing for you to cheer someone on. It does go a little bit deeper when it is your best friend. You are like pushing them. They're telling you the struggles. They're telling you, like, yeah, I just got this promotion, but you don't know the hell I got to go through to actually keep this position, to stay in my right
Exactly.
frame of mind.
Exactly.
You know, everyone else, the good friend might not know all of that. The coworker might not know all of that. But then that best friend is there to push. That best friend
Exactly.
is there to pray. That best friend, Irene and I, she has a good job, y'all. She does. She has a good job. She is a dean at her job. She has a good job. But I know, as far as the stress that sometimes that she can be under.
Mhm.
So when she's talking to me, Irene, they ask you to do that because you can do it. Girl. You know, I get that, but and I
Yeah.
hear her out, and no, I might not fully understand the position. That's another thing. We might not fully understand what a person may be going through, but it's our words, it's our support, it's
Yeah.
our prayers. That's what our friend needs, and that's what we do for each other.
Yeah.
We push one another. And that checking thing, baby, you need somebody that's going to let you know that your slip is hanging.
Yeah.
We cannot be that arrogant that nobody can correct us. Now, everybody can't correct you, because
No.
everybody can't come to me to
No,
correct me.
don't
now.
do it. Yeah.
But I
Don't do
am
it.
expecting her to say, and sometimes I'm calling her like, look, I'm feeling like this. Am I wrong? And she'll let me know. Yeah, you're a bit old today, but you know what? This is how you can turn that thing around. Like, don't fake it for me. I can't say a good friend or just a friend might not be as honest, because you all don't have that relationship.
Right.
Don't expect that that's the thing. Don't expect that from an associate or a good friend if your relationship is not there. But with a best friend, it's like it's automatic. Even when I don't want it, I need you to tell me.
Yeah.
Even if I'm off, and I'm not even asking you, am I off? Let me know.
Right. That's true.
You know,
That's
don't
true.
be out here foul with my tail out. Let me know that I am off. You're going down the wrong road. You're going down the wrong track. That is what a best friend does to you. They kind of reel you back in, along with their husband, because our husbands will do it in a minute. Now, they do it a little bit different. Yeah, they're a little bit different with the way that they do things.
That was a good way to say it.
A little bit more blunt, you know, hurt. I
Right.
mean, just hurt the feelings to the core. But
Yes, you need to cut it out. Yeah.
That's the relationship that we have with them. Don't
Yeah.
expect them to be the girlfriend. Okay, the girlfriend is gonna give it to me soft. She's
Right.
gonna still slap my hand,
Yeah.
but that's gonna break out with the belt.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's different. But you want somebody in your life that is there to correct you. And I do think that's one of the things that a best friend should do for you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I really hope that, everyone deserves to have someone that can be a safe space for them.
Yes.
For my single women, you might not have a boyfriend like
Mhm.
that. You might not be engaged. you know, if you have, and not everybody is close to their brother or their sisters. So, you know, sometimes people, you know, have sisters, you know, fortunately for Kiran and myself, we do have sisters that we're close to, that we can talk to.
And she could be blunt, very.
Oh, yeah.
She's not gonna sugarcoat it either.
Both of, yeah, my sister is the same way. One of my sisters is the same. But I actually like that.
Yes.
Let me say this. If I have a relationship with that person, I do like people that are blunt. I don't like to try to figure out what you're trying to say, where I am with you. I don't like that. I do like when people are direct and they're straight. I really like that.
Don't beat around that bush.
You do know where you are with the person, because if someone says something to you that you don't like an associate, they try to correct you, you will get offended. Like, girl, you don't know me like that. So you automatically right there, that's an associate. Because you're like, you know, I said it before, you don't know me like that.
Right.
They could be right, but they don't know me like that. So don't say that to me. But at the same time, when you have someone that you respect or that has earned the right in your life to say that to you, that's the best friend. And I thought about something too. If you can travel with them, that is a huge thing. When you can travel. Now the traveling thing falls into good friends and best friends. I don't know too much about associates. I'm very nitpicky, so if you can survive traveling with me, you've done well. You've earned it. But I think, you know, being able to travel with that person, because you got to think you're really that's intimate, you know, that's a lot of time together and deciding like what you're gonna do, where you're gonna go, and having fun and creating memories. So those are
the morning person, you're gonna see the afternoon person, and you're gonna see the nighttime person.
All three personalities. All three personalities.
Exactly.
You know, but I think, you know, being able to travel. So, you know, for you out there that are wondering like what's the difference, and if you can have more than one, you know, so we've named so many things where you can test it out and try it. But you know, live your life. You're gonna make mistakes. Some people are gonna hurt you. That's how you know. And you'll start seeing like the same characteristics of a person that you know you don't gel with. You'll start seeing the same traits, you know, and so pay attention to that. Like, you know, every time I say something good happened to me, they jealous, or that I don't do shade but well, right? What was it? On Real Housewives of Atlanta, Candy Burris said, when they go low, I go to hell, right? That's how low she go, right? So, you know, when people throw shade and they start going low and you think you got to go lower than them, that's not your friend.
Right.
People say, oh, we just throwing some fun shade. It's really no fun shade.
What is throwing shade?
Yeah, it's something behind that. And so, you know, you got to be careful. You got to really be careful with that, because people will tell you how they really feel about you and throw a joke in to throw you off.
Yes. Yeah. And it's funny that you say that. I don't think this is in his book, but my husband says that all the time, that a lot of times jealousy is in jokes. Yeah. So, oh, I'm just playing with you. They say something. Oh, I don't know. The way you sang today, it was a little bit off. I'm just playing with you. You know, neither one of us sing, so whatever. But I mean, it's things like that where you like, oh, well, what's up? If you got to sit there and like second guess, like, did I say that wrong? Did I look at that person wrong? No, it's something behind. Or like when it comes to complimenting you, it's not a compliment. It's like, girl, this green looks good on you. It's like, girl, you always wearing green. What? You just can't say that. It's like that. It's like the underlying message. So you don't want anybody around you like that. If you got to try to figure out, like, were they joking with me? No, they probably weren't. Because I remember I was, I don't want to say where I was, but I was somewhere. And somebody made a comment about my butt. And then they said, oh, I'm just playing. And I said, but you ugly. I'm just playing. We're not talking about you ugly, but you got something to say about my butt. See, that person's not my friend, right? Yeah, that person's not my friend. Exactly. So, but I'm saying people will throw stuff in there to try to play at what they think might be your insecurity, or to
throw a dig in, or, well, you know what? I really like how she looks today, and
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good about myself. So let me throw something out at her so she can project on her, so she can feel how I feel. Like things like that. I don't play those kind of games at all. And I don't think those people are necessarily your friends unless you've built that kind of relationship with someone and all y'all do is play the dozens, joke and joke and joke. But that's the kind of friendship you build. But that's another way, because people will throw shade or they'll insult you and then guise it as they're joking. And I don't, I don't know. I mean, everyone should know their own personality. My personality is I don't, I don't play those kind of games.
I don't either. I don't either, y'all. I don't either, y'all. So we do hope that this conversation and this podcast will bring light or actually answer some of the questions that you all may have in regards to friendships, the associates, the good friends, and also the best friends. And again, you can always have more than one. More than one. I would say your coworkers, the ones that you see every day, talk to every day, those are probably your associates. So you might have several of them. And then like your good friends, you can have a few or maybe many good friends. And then the same thing with your best friends. And then also that better friend.
Yes, the better
friend that's out there. It's okay to have more than one. Just thank God for friends. Thank God for relationship. Just thank God that you are open. He has allowed you to come in contact with your friends. Appreciate all of them.
Yes.
Even the associates. Look, appreciate even the haters, y'all. They are building you.
They're helping you.
But we need to appreciate what it is that God is trying to show us and teach us, even as far as through them.
Sometimes they push us into our purpose.
Man,
they really do.
Cause you to hit them in their mouth, one or the other. That it's going to.
That's the truth.
One is going to help with the skills, like whichever.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And I would think about Jesus had Judas. Man, you got to think about that.
You know what his purpose was, and he still dealt with him just like everybody else. But you know what? I'm not chief.
What would Jesus do, Kiran? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do?
I'm not Jesus, y'all. When I see the phony baloney, don't come back at me with it. I'm good. We good. We ain't got to sit down. We got to talk about. I'm just gonna stop talking to you, most likely. Right. Just period. That's you know what? That's probably why a lot of times God just don't tell us flat out, because instead of us just automatically disconnecting ourselves, we're gonna go back, we're gonna let them know, we're gonna tell them God told us all. Like that.
You don't let it
never like it. Don't let it happen like that, because we'll be telling everybody.
And you be mad like, I didn't see that coming.
Exactly. But yeah, again, we just hope that this has helped you all. And we love you all. We thank you all for supporting our podcast. And again, until next time, we love you all and have the best relationships. Cultivate your relationships.
Yes.
Maintain your relationships. Work on your relationships. And always pray for your relationships. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.